It seems like everything is falling right now. Stock market is down, crypto is down, Ethereum's down. What's gold doing? Is gold going up? Is it not going up? Is it time for it to go up? What's going on with the US dollar? Isn't it supposed to be falling? Why is the US dollar going up? What the heck is going on with the bond market? And what's that telling us about interest rates? We're going to cover all that plus a couple stock picks to see if you should invest alongside one of the richest people in the world. Stick around, we're going to get to all of that. Hey everyone, this is RC Peck, and I want to talk about not only the stock market, but what's going on with the stock market and what I think is happening with it and what signs we have to be looking for to tell us if it's going to accelerate lower or if it's going to move higher. Now, this is going to be useful for you because it's going to start to show you how to think like price, how to follow price, how to understand what price is telling us, price direction is telling us. So we're going to get to that. Again, this is whether you're 30 or 60 or 90. These videos help us with what is going on today, including a billionaire backing up the truck to a single stock, but also what you should be doing with your money, whether it's panic time or not. So let's jump over to the charts and let's get to this. All right, let's just start with a simple price chart of the S&P 500. So look, as of right now, I know it's down. It was up today. I'm recording this after the close on Friday. So before that, let's just say the S&P was down 10%. If you look at the screen here, I want to bring your attention to the left side of the screen, which is the end of 2018. I've talked about this in a previous video, how back there, Jerome Powell said he was going to raise rates 3 times. He didn't. He walked back, raising rates 3 times, and the market went up. Right. So from the bottom of that 20% drop to where the market went up 45%. And the only reason the market fell was because of COVID. It was accelerating to the upside. So now here he is again saying he's going to raise rates 3 times. I don't think he's going to walk it back. I don't think even if the market falls a total of 20%, he's going to change his mind. Now he may change some language like I will only raise rates 3 times, but I will not raise them 4 or 5 times. So he can say things, but it's very likely the market will check out the 20% down price. Do you know what I mean when I say that? Like, it's very likely it will drop 20%. Now, of course, it does not have to. And I was on Cheddar TV this week, and the woman said, well, what drops 20%? The S&P, the Dow, the Qs? Well, it's not going to be the Dow. The Dow Jones is doing great. Those 30 mega stocks are fine. So out of those 3 major indexes, the Dow is doing best. I can just bring up the Dow here with DIA. It's doing the best in this correction. It's only been down, let's call it at most 8%. And it's really kind of holding its ground there. It's finding buyers at the same price it's been finding the whole time. So the Dow is not going to go down 20%, even if the S&P does. The NASDAQ 100 or the Qs, which most people know by the Qs, it definitely is. It's having more volatility right now. So from the peak, it had a double top to below today. At the low of yesterday, it's down 15, let's call it 16%. It was up over 3% today. The thing is that I do not believe this correction. I'm going to call it a correction. I don't think it's a crash. The economy is doing great. We don't get 50 to 60% falls without the economy doing badly. The economy is doing great. People are quitting their jobs because they have a lot of prospects. So it is not likely at all that we're going to have one of these 50 or 60% drops, but we could have a 20 or 25% drop, which is okay. Now, here's the thing. The market wants to scare you. So whatever the market can do to scare us, that's all it's going to do. So let's kind of go around and talk about what is working. So let's talk about what is working. Energy. This is XLE. Energy is doing great. It was the lead sector last year, up about 50%. This year, it's up about 20%. Pretty amazing. Look at this one stock. You've probably heard of this, ExxonMobil. It is just doing incredibly well this year. A company that no one talks about. It's doing really well. Large cap U.S. energy stocks are crushing it. They did well last year, and they're doing the same thing this year. In the U.S., that's about the only thing that's doing amazingly well. is large cap energy stocks. There's Exxon, you have Chevron, which is even doing better. That's a lifetime high right there. Exxon's at a lifetime high. ConocoPhillips is at a lifetime high. Everyone, when a symbol is at a lifetime high, now I'm using dividends reinvested. When a symbol is at lifetime highs, that means people want to buy it when the price goes up. That's a sign of strength. So we have this incredible sign of strength going on in energy. But here's the thing. It's not just what was the best sector last year is the best sector this year. Last year, real estate did really, really, really well, like 40% well. And this year, let's just see, to the close of yesterday, it was down 13%, which is not end of world, but considering that it was up 40% last year, it got hit pretty badly. So as far as US goes, energy, large cap is doing really well. Now, the other thing in the US that's doing really well is just, and this is not just the US, but this is just generally speaking, just commodities. Commodities were the lead asset class last year. There's only 4 asset classes on the planet: stocks, fixed income, commodities, and real estate. That's it. Sorry, crypto's not a 5th asset class. Crypto's either currency or technology, which is stock. So you have commodities doing amazingly well last year, and you have commodities doing amazingly well this year. So internationally, what's doing well? Believe it or not, Brazil. Now, Brazil did not do well last year, did not do well the year before, has not really been doing well for any period of time, but this year it is on the move. Part of it is Brazil produces a lot of energy. So Brazil is doing well. I mean, if you look at this price chart, it just looks like a mess. I shouldn't even bring up this price chart. But this is the beginning of the year here, and Brazil is up about 17%, which is amazing. But as you can see, if you're listening to this, you can see the price chart of Brazil over the last 3.5 years just looks, well, it looks like a mess. Okay, now, just because it's producing oil doesn't mean just because your country produces oil doesn't mean you're in the clear. So here is a country. This is the biggest gas station in the world, called Russia. Russia looks horrible, right? One would believe with energy moving higher, with barrels of oil above $80 a barrel, one would think Russia should be doing well because they produce a lot of energy. They are not. From their high in 2021, they're down 30%. So that's a little concerning because that may have to do with a potential war with the Ukraine. I don't have a Ukrainian stock index. There may be one. I'm not going to look it up right now. But when you see a price chart fall for a country, and the country's talking about moving tanks and military, that's not a good sign. Now, let's compare this to, let's see if I can get this right. This is Taiwan. Taiwan is not going to war with that other country called China. Taiwan's probably one of my favorite countries in the world. You're not allowed to call it a country anymore, but it is. So you can see with Taiwan, no one thinks they're going to war anytime soon. So Russia not doing well. That does not bode well for potential skirmish or hot war with the Ukraine. Brazil's doing great, EWZ. Russia was RSX. No, Taiwan and China are not going to war right now. So a couple things that aren't doing well, or things that if you want to know when does the pain end, the pain ends when ARK Innovation ETF, ARKK, which is their flagship ETF. So the pain really ends when ARK stops falling. Now, from its high at the beginning of 21 to where it ended yesterday, it's down 50, let's call it 58%. That is also known as horrible. Let me zoom in. I have Netflix here, but I'll get to that in a minute. So here's ARK Innovation here. I'm zoomed in here. I'm looking at a what I call a 1 hour chart, and there's just no sign really of it turning around. So nothing has bottomed yet. Okay, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for some sort of short-term signal to say, hey, things have turned around. And we need it to turn around first on a short-term basis, and there's been no short-term reversal. It could be a bottom already, but we have to wait for a short-term signal, and that has not happened yet. This is what's so important about understanding signals, so you can have a clear signal that says short-term turnaround has happened. You need to see that first. This leads me to Netflix, and let me bring up a price chart of Netflix right here. So this is Netflix, also known as a stock that's fallen 50% over the last 2 months. Had a double top here, if you can see that on my screen. If not, just you're hearing it had a double top. And Netflix, everyone, Netflix fell from day opening to day close of day, 48%. I'm going to round it to 50 because if you go intraday, it was 50. So a couple things about Netflix. Oh my God. This is a name brand company that is not going away. It just fell 50%. So Bill Ackman bought 3 million shares here. He bought 3 million shares at, I don't know, let's just for easy math call it $4 million, even if he bought it below that. It's just easier math. So there's also a lot of support and resistance at this price range. I don't think it's necessarily bottomed yet. If the market weakens a little bit more going into February, if you look at the screen, Netflix really hasn't, it stopped falling right now. That doesn't mean it's stopped falling. It just temporarily isn't falling. And the announcement with Bill Ackman, who's a billionaire, him buying 3.1 million shares. If you look at the screen, it did not break the price of this stock above $410. And that's what you have to see. You have to see it break above $410. Just from a price point of view, that's just a price signal. That's not the short-term signal I'm talking about across the board. But Bill Ackman buying a ton of this did not break it. It just said, okay, thanks, Bill. It popped a little bit. Visually, you can see it didn't go anywhere. And then it kind of settled back down. It was actually down for the day on Friday, even though the market was up big time. So that's also a sign that things haven't bottomed yet. And there's a bunch of these stocks that are absolutely on sale. So Netflix is one of them. Shopify is another that was down 50%. Square is another that was down 50%. Let's just quickly check out Twitter. How bad is Twitter? Twitter's down 57%. Again, Twitter's not going away. These are some buy and forgets. Like even if it took a year or two to stabilize, again, none of these have short-term buy signals yet, but these are some pretty big stocks that have been hit absolutely bad. Sea Limited, it's I believe the largest stock in Singapore. This thing has been absolutely beat up, down 67%. Again, another great company. These things are absolutely on sale. Again, that doesn't mean they can't fall more. PayPal, again, another company that's not going anywhere. This thing has been, that's almost 50% fallen. But again, I'm not saying we're done with the correction. The overall picture that I want you to get is 3 interest rate increases by the Fed. The last time that happened was 2018. The S&P fell 20%. Okay, the S&P is only down 10% right now. I'm not saying it's going to go there. I'm not hedging my bets, but I just want you to really understand that I don't think this correction thing is over yet. If it is, and we do start moving up, that is a huge sign for how strong the stock market is, because it's saying, hey, 3 interest rate hikes, money printing, balance sheet expansion going away in March. No problem. We got this. The economy is expanding again. That's going to be a great thing if, in fact, the S&P only falls 10% and we move higher. So let me think if I got everything. I did want to talk about ARK. I want to talk about Russia. Now, this is not just by anything. This is not just by anything that's fallen 50%. So I'm not saying you should go out and buy Peloton because it's fallen. Actually, let's just see how much Peloton has fallen. And let me see how we're doing on time here. So Peloton's down 85%. I'm not saying you should go buy Peloton. I'm not saying you should go buy Robinhood, which just keeps falling. So this isn't by anything that's down. I'm talking about established companies with real profit, with real revenue, with real expansion, with real user bases of hundreds of thousands or millions or tens of millions or hundreds of millions of users. That's what I'm talking about with those first 4 or 5 symbols that we looked at. Okay, just quickly, I'm going to pop over to gold. Because I know some people have asked, like, hey, is gold telling us to get in? Is gold telling us to get in? So no, gold's telling us not to get in. Gold is not doing anything. It just happens to be below $1,800 today. It's still lost. Silver itself looks at least as bad. So still, no one's moving into precious metals. GDX, which is precious metal mining equities, it's still in a downtrend that started in August of 2020. So no one's moving into gold. So I just want everyone to hear that. No one's moving into gold. I have no problem if that happens. And as far as the overall bond market, no one's moving into bonds yet, meaning no one's panicking into bonds. No one's panicking into gold. No one's really panicking yet. And the reason I say that is because here's SPY dividends. So dividends are actually doing well, right? The dividends did not do well in the COVID crash. They were down almost 50%. I really want you to hear this. People over the age of 50 absolutely panicked in the COVID crash because the people who own dividend producing stocks are people over the age of 50. Those fell 50%. The NASDAQ only fell 28%. So here we have dividend stocks doing quite well now. So people over the age of 50 are not panicking. This is good to know because that's where all the money is. They're holding their position. They're not moving more money into bonds. The only thing that's starting to, and I don't want to say concern me, but is just caught my attention is the dollar has moved up about 9 or 10% since middle of June last year. And I just want to say, when we zoom out, which you have to zoom out sometimes, I also want you to get like, hey, this is what the US dollar has been doing since 2015. It's just in a really big, ugly sideways channel moving between, say, 90 and 100. And that's the US dollar future. So that's up against a basket of other currencies. So honestly, if you look at the screen, as long as the US dollar stays somewhere between 190, not 190, but between 100 on the top and 90 on the bottom, there's really not a lot to talk about with the US dollar. Okay, you may need to watch this video twice because there was a lot in there. So let's pull back the headlines. We are back to the end of 2018 where the Fed said they were going to raise rates 3 times. The market absolutely threw up and was going to fall much harder. Jerome Powell stepped in and said, I won't increase rates. I'll walk it back. We won't do any rate increase. I don't think he's going to do that this time. We have to watch. So the market, it would not surprise me if it drops down to 20% down, the S&P, for then to see what Jerome does say. And he may be able to say something positive, like, we're just going to do 3 rate increases. That's it. Nothing, no 4, no 5, no 9, just 3. And that might be what the market needs. So we're going to watch that. There are some good areas of the market. Commodities were the best asset class last year. Energy's doing well. Brazil's doing well. You have to have signals. You have to have signals based on price. That's when you can get these kind of buy and forget stocks like Shopify or Square or PayPal or Netflix. So thanks everyone for being in my world. Please let me know where I got it right, where I got it wrong, what you think I missed. Leave a comment. It helps the algorithms with YouTube. Please hit the like button. That also helps. And thank you for being in my world. And if you like this video, you will absolutely love our other ones. Okay, thanks.